I want to get to the Giannis conversation, but did Coach Bud save his job?
Yes. Yeah, you know it. You fucking know it. You know it. He knows it. The Bucks players know it.
Yeah.
Like if that ownership group is fractured, you had one of them saying fuck, and then you had the other one like fist pumping tiger style. Like, yes, we're fucking good. Yeah. Like, yes, it was that important of a game.
Bro, isn't the NBA wild like that, right? Because legitimately, Bud's job was on the fucking line a week ago. It literally was. It was that, and also we could talk about a lot of other teams, but it's funny how the playoffs work that way, bro. It's funny how that works out. We were talking about, man, I'm saying we as in me and you, we're talking about them like it was done, it was finished. A week later, they have a legitimate shot at a title. Honestly, they do. Yeah. Giannis has a legitimate shot at a fucking title right now. Yes. What does that do to your mental, bro? When you're like, bro, okay, well, on one hand, a week later, oh, my coaches might get freaking fired. And the next is like, oh, I guess we're going to get a title. That's just how... I don't know what that does.
That's why the NBA for me is the sport. I said this on the last pod. Your future and the complexion of your future changes so dramatically from game to game in a series and from series to series. It's like that 06 Clippers series, or no, the Lakers series.
Yeah,
we were dead. Like 3-1, you were somewhere deep down.
I don't remember the coverage back then, but were you guys talking about like changes happening in the 3-1, or was it?
No,
did you guys not get to that? Okay,
I don't mean like from a team perspective. I just mean your outlook as a player. Like you're just like, oh, this shit's the end of the world, man. We're down 3-1, it's a wrap. Like, deep down in, you're like, man, people don't do this shit every time. You still believe.
But, it could be the end of the world if y'all lose one more game.
You know what I mean? and then you're like, oh shit, you get by that, and you're like, no, we can win. We win a championship this year. Like the rest of our, we got to change. This is a good look for us. And so, it's crazy. The Bucks just had to exercise some demons, man. Like I really think that Bud comes from a coaching tree that is as good as there is, right? I mean, you like that pop tree is it's good. Like you could throw Pat Riley in there and Phil, but it's as good as there is, right? So he's got the ability. I think he just coaches really tight at times when he feels the pressure. And I think they had to exercise some demons, both him and the team. And I think they did.
So what did you think about down the stretch? Because you had some problems with how the Bucks were playing down the stretch of game. What was it, game 5 or 6? You had some troubles with how did you think that they managed game 7? Or does it even matter? Like, I honestly, when I looked, it would look like the same kind of sets down the stretch of game 7, but like it just I don't want to discredit the Bucks, but it did seem like this series was more the fight of attrition more than it was the actual talent. And that's okay too. That's fine. That's the league. That's the NBA in which we play. So if that's what it is, then that's what it is. But did you see any difference, or does it matter?
Well, ultimately it doesn't matter, but I did see some difference. I didn't see a huge overhaul in philosophy. Like the Bucks are going to be who they are. They played that way all year. So you can't expect them to come out and say, oh, we're switching everything. But I saw Giannis late in the game. The only jump hook I saw him shoot all series, he put that in like right before, he bullied James on an out of bounds play and went to the block. He caught it a few times down below, the hash, faced up. They took it to the bucket on KD a few times. Like I did see them work to get him the ball in more desirable positions, late down the stretch. Defensively, I didn't see a huge shift in what they were doing, but they just did they did what they could do with it.
Yeah. Now you brought up a point, and you told us why you was mad, son. You told us why you were mad at the beginning of the pod about how people are talking about the way Giannis plays. And I have a question for you, because I wanted to follow up, but wanted to go down the rundown. Do you think it's because his game isn't aesthetically pleasing enough for people, the way that they talk about how he plays? Or where do you think that this sort of thing stems from? Where do you think that this Giannis backlash kind of stems from?
Fatigue. I mean, he's 2-time MVP. His teams didn't win championships. Like that has to be factored into it. I do think there's something about the aesthetics of games. We live in a day and an age where you have to have a quote unquote bag, and you got to be able to do, all of this cool shit with the ball, and we got to be able to shoot threes from half court. And he doesn't do any of that. And so yeah, I'm sure there are people that aesthetically don't love the look of it. I argue, all the time about like the productivity of it. I'm not into advanced analytics, so there's going to be somebody smarter than me listening to this pod talking about his PER and all of that shit. I don't give a fuck. All right, I'm telling you what the stat sheet says, dog. I'm watching it and saying, like, there is nothing that can stop him if you get him in the right position from unfolding on top of the rim or having to collapse your defense, and he's able to kick it out to shooters. So that's a problem. And, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you other than that. Who's going to guard him who's going to guard his ass the rest of these playoffs?
My man fucking scored 40 points, 13 boards, and dished out 5 assists in a closeout in 50 minutes.
50. Who is going to guard that? Who's going to guard his ass? You tell me on any of the teams left in the playoffs. Who's going to guard him?
I'm going to be real with you, man. Like, I love the Hawks. I love the Hawks. However, Capella got mollywopped throughout the whole series, and it was honestly because the Sixers' other star didn't show up, by and large. That being said, Giannis, just give him the ball like they give him the ball with Shaq, and he's going to be fine. My only critique of Giannis, and it might be just like feeding into the things, is like I feel like he's starting to settle too much for the three. He doesn't have to.
Nope.
Fuck what Raja Bell or Logan Murdock or any fucking pundit says. Play your game, bro. Like, who cares, dude? Like, if you can't shoot a three, who cares? I don't need you to shoot 1 3. You don't have to do it. Who cares? Go to the cup.
You ain't got to worry about Raja Bell saying that because I ain't never said that. I'm not. Hey, dog, if you don't shoot threes,
you get what I'm saying, though, Rob.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying, though, Rob. Yeah.
I co-sign that 100%.
Like, I do feel that players listen to that, and you can attest or say I'm full of shit, but I do feel like players feed into that where they feel like, yo, I got to shoot threes. I got to do all that. If that's not your game, bro, because I see this a lot sometimes. I see this sometimes with Joel Embiid, right? Teams sometimes just let him shoot that three. Fuck it, because like it's not as effective as if he just bullies you in the paint and dunks over you.
Right.
That's more effective. If Giannis doesn't shoot a three the whole series and just gets 45, whatever is 45, and you're punishing them, I just want him to go in his own way, go full Shaq and just double down. Because you remember playing against Shaq, just get it in the post, he's going to dunk it. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do or how you're going to stop it. You know what is going to happen every time. Giannis has that in him. I want him to do that in this series.
Now, I'm with you 100%. And here's what would be my critique. I feel silly saying that of Giannis. And to some degree, what I was telling you and DA on the pod last time, what I would do with Giannis, I realized in Game 7 against the Bucks that against the Nets, that you can't do that with Giannis, really, because Giannis doesn't like the ball with his back to the basket. Like, you saw KD that whole game, and I was trying to show my young son, like, KD doesn't catch it on the post all the time, but he works his way a lot of the time to a post area with his back to his defender. And he shoots that fade away or whatever. Giannis, every time he gets it, or not every time, because I just referenced that one jump hook, but it was the only back to the basket move I saw him make. He generally looks uncomfortable with his back to the basket. He always wants to face you up and come downhill at you. Now, it can be very effective too, but I think that if that man, people say, oh, if he got a jumper, 100% if he got a jumper. But if he got some true low post feet where he could play with his back to you, wrap it up.
How old is Giannis still? I think Giannis is 26 years old.
Yeah.
If he stays healthy.
That's scary.
If he just, oh my goodness, if he just stays healthy. Because, like, bro, he is scoring 40 and he's just scoring 40 on will, bro. He's not necessarily, this is why people, I don't know. I think this is why people hate him, because he just doesn't, he doesn't do it. He does it in a very raw way. And that's fine. As long as 40 points is 40 points in a closeout game, and so is 15 rebounds. Yeah. So, with that being said, before we get to the next segment, I think we're both in agreement right now that the Bucks are going to go to the finals. I think we're both in agreement on this. What is it? Bucks? I say Bucks in 5-6 at the most. What are you saying, Raja?
Bucks in 5, brother. Like, the Hawks will be game. They will come to play. There are going to be some exciting games. I want to say
we both love the Hawks. We both love the Hawks.
Absolutely. I think you're outmanned here. And you get Giannis, and if I get a decent Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, and Brooke Lopez, Bucks in 5.